Hey, you're listening to or watching What's the Tea? Two former support workers trying to navigate life, catching up over a cuppa. My name's Lydia.
My name's Andy.
How are you?
Oh, well, it's a Monday. It feels weird doing this on
It does
Monday.
feel weird.
We normally do this later in the week.
Yeah, like a Thursday morning.
Yes. Yeah. You normally kind of drag me into the office and
Drag you?
Well,
Sounds like I'm like holding you
it's
like a weapon to your head or something.
It's a perfectly good reason to come into the office to record this podcast.
Okay, can you say that then rather than me dragging you? Thank you very much.
Well, it's a lot less amusing. But I am thrown, so maybe I should not complain about recording on Thursdays.
Yeah, no, Monday I think is just, it's the start of the week. It's just, and Mondays I do late shifts.
So if we're all a bit kind of unaware of what's happening, less so than normal. If we're all a bit confused and dazed and just rambling.
It's because it's
just
Monday.
Just rambling complete nonsense.
It's like it's Monday for us when we're recording.
It's Monday and we're trying to compute
a
change. We don't do change too well, do we? Not really.
Me and you are like the worst.
Maybe this is what's going on here.
Yeah, it is change. I hate change. So
how are you? Let's move on past my ramblings.
Yeah, I'm okay. It's been a long morning.
How was your morning?
So I may or may not have been caught speeding.
May or may not have.
Yeah, just speeding a little bit on the motorway. And do you know what? I don't like getting into trouble. I don't like doing anything wrong, as you know. Like, if I ever made a mistake as a support worker, you know this, I'd beat myself up because I hate it. You never
have made a mistake in your entire professional career.
Nothing major. Why are you doing that, Andy? Anyway, we'll move on from that. Gosh, maybe we shouldn't film on Mondays. You're a bit sassy on a Monday. Gosh. So I may have been caught speeding just a tad on the motorway, and it's my first ever speeding offence, and it's going to be my last if this is the punishment I get for speeding. So, because it was my first offence and I wasn't speeding that much, I could go on a speed awareness course. Okay. And I thought it'd be an hour.
Okay.
45 minutes. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes on Zoom.
So only 2 hours and 45 minutes.
It started at 7:45 this morning.
All right, that's a bit early.
And it's on Zoom and it's all very serious, which, it should be because all of us have broken the law. We've all committed an offence. I get that. But yeah, it's taken its toll on me today. I think that's why I'm a bit more dazed than normal.
Aside from kind of the shock value of trying to be serious for over 2 hours.
I nearly fell asleep.
You see, I don't know where to go with this because I was about to ask you, what do you take home from this course?
I took loads of things.
And you just said, I almost fell asleep. I'm like...
No, do you know what I learned, right? Which I take... When I say it out loud, you're going to be like, what? But they say you don't have to go at the speed limit. It's a limit. And I was just like, oh, yeah. How has it never been explained to me that before? Like, it's a 70 mile an hour speed limit. You don't have to do 70. That's the maximum that you should be doing. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'm not going to get as annoyed as drivers going slow on a motorway now. Because it's a limit. It's a maximum.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the last episode that we recorded?
Oh, yeah. That was a lot of feelings for me in a very short space of time. And I'm surprised at how put together it sounded. Because afterwards I was like, I don't know if this is going to make any sense, or that Andy's going to have to message me to say we're going to have to re-record. But it sounded okay. But, gosh, if we felt like that filming it, apologies to the guys at home for listening to it, because it was flipping depressing.
I mean, if you have managed to get through it, well done you. I mean, yeah, I felt kind of, whoa. I mean, particularly editing it afterwards. I was like, flipping it.
Yeah. And I've listened to our podcast episodes a few times, not because I like the sound of my own voice. I just think it's, why are you putting a face like that? Sure. I actually hate the sound of my voice, but just because, It's funny. I still laugh along, like when we're laughing in the episodes. But I've only listened to the last episode once fully through.
Okay.
Yeah, and afterwards I missed our normal charming selves of being. I think we're hilarious.
Charming.
Yeah. I think we're charming.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And I think we're hilarious. Some people may not, but but yeah, no, it was tough. It was like we said in the episodes, it was needed to be talked about. But yeah, gosh, it was depressing.
Yeah, and I think how we ended the last episode talking about looking after yourself. In a weird way, leads nicely on to how to look after ourselves.
But that is not that wasn't our idea.
Our choice.
No, so
at all.
Yeah, no. So Andy was like, "What should we do for the next episode?" And I was still in this like depressed cloud of the last episode. Like, well, where do we go from here? Because we can't have another serious topic after that episode.
No.
So I was like, why don't we put a poll on the alumni Facebook page, YMCX alumni page. And so our audience are the ones that chose the topic. It was, I think this one was in the lead by landslide from looking at the results yesterday.
There was a couple.
Yeah. Basically the topic is they wanted top tips.
5 tips for looking after yourself.
But because it's me and you.
It's not 5 tips at all whatsoever.
I'm glad you said it.
It isn't.
It's like our budgeting episode where it was just like, oh my goodness, we've got so much advice. So much advice. Not that we take our own advice sometimes, but... I
mean, 2 former support workers talking about budgeting. It was always going to be
a
longer
long
than we were expecting it to.
Yeah, of course.
That was just craziness.
Yeah.
Behalf.
So yeah, today is 5 top tips of looking after yourself. And it was funny because... basically, like I've said, as you can probably tell, I'm not wearing green. I remembered this time, but also Andy, being the wardrobe guy, messaged me, don't wear green. So along with the producer...
I think it was because I had the episode up. And it was
just take
chance.
The credit, Andy.
It was only chance.
Just take the credit.
All right, okay.
But Andy's
right,
the producer,
I was
the editor, wardrobe, but he also plans the content. Like I said, I just rock up. And so we were looking at the notes this morning of like what Andy had put down, and there was a little disagreement.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, but we've narrowed it down.
Yeah, we should probably start talking rather than
Yeah, you'll go first.
I'm going first.
Yeah, it's your.
Okay, well,
I think it's yours first, isn't it?
Well, it's mine first and then yours, but we can just go from one to the other.
Oh, okay,
but. I'm going to take the first one.
Okay.
Anyway, because the first one is probably the most shocking. It's to eat properly.
But what do you mean by eat properly? Because, like, when I'm in my low spells, I eat properly because I eat a lot.
So do you mean eat properly? By eating properly, I do not mean like massive platefuls of kind of chips and... crisps, chocolate and other kind of assorted kind of beige food that has just been chucked into the oven and just left to kind of be all beigey.
Be all beigey?
I don't know where I was going. It kind of ran away from me there.
Be all beigey. Sorry.
And I kind of mean like stuff like fruit.
Okay, so
yogurt.
What you're saying is food for mood.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But also kind of food, kind of just to keep your body kind of healthy and going and all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah.
You're okay there, Andy?
Oh really? I'm talking about fruit and stuff. It's not natural territory.
You can tell it's Monday. No, so food for mood is basically like what you've just said. It's eating the right foods for your mood. So if you're feeling depressed, most people will go for the easy foods like the crisps, the chocolate, pizza that you just put in an oven. And what food for mood is actually, when you're feeling low, it's like all a hormone thing, isn't it? When your mood's like not that great and you need to look after yourself. So therefore you need nutritious foods such as your strawberries, your bananas, your kale, to boost your mood. I'm not expecting, this is not advice for me to say whenever you're feeling.
We're not experts on anything.
No, and I'm not saying like when you're low, just eat a bag of kale. Like if you want to do that, that's fine. But
well, it's interesting actually. There was a lot of news recently to say that people in England need to up their vitamin D intake.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's because of nights getting shorter and sun going away and things like that.
Yeah, possibly.
So things like oranges, orange juice, fruit, garlic.
Yeah. And making sure that you're eating at least 3 meals a day, substantial meals. Because obviously when we're not feeling great or we're stressed or anxious or just really busy with life, it's so easy to fall into that trap where you won't eat anything until the evening and then you're like too tired to cook.
Oh, I do that.
Yeah. Me and Andy are probably
it's
the
just
worst.
So easy to just kind of set a laptop and
me and Andy are probably the worst people to give advice because we are the worst two people to forget to eat.
There's probably a number of professionals within the organisation who'd be surprised to hear me talk about healthy eating.
Yeah, and me remembering to eat. The number of times it gets to like 4 p.m. and I'm like, oh, I've not eaten anything today. And they're like, oh, what, no lunch? It's like, no, I've just woken up, come to work, not eaten anything.
We've literally had that after staff meeting. Just Anyway,
let's not go into our bad habits. Anyway, now that we know that we're recording, I thought we could leave that bit in. It'd be funny. Anyway, the next top tip is gardening. Now, I love that this is my top tip because
are you stealing my tips?
This was the next one down the list. I thought we were. Oh, you just want me to say a random one, not go down a list?
No, it's okay. It's okay. You can have gardening.
I was going to say it's probably the worst top tip for me to give because I hate gardening and I don't do gardening. So as you know, guys, I live on site and there's a garden that's the warden's garden. Some of you, well, no, because I mentioned it in the first episode. Yeah. And there's a garden that's the warden's garden. And when I got offered the flat, I said I don't want the garden if I have to do gardening. And now it's a communal project for the residents to do gardening, grow vegetables and things like that. I get to enjoy it and sit on it on the weekends. I just don't do any of the work, so it works well for me. But if people haven't kind of been on our social medias, obviously we did Gardens Question Time. There's been like a whole thing about gardening and well-being and how good it is to get outside, see, I guess, something that you've started off as a seed to then become like a fully fledged flower or vegetable or whatever it is, and seeing that kind of process of nurturing something, getting out, de-weeding and things like that. So yeah, gardening can be a good way to kind of boost your mood, but also your self-esteem. And again, it's just getting you outdoors, fresh air, all those good things.
So I'm going to jump onto this one a little bit because it is mine. And I find it's a great way to kind of get me away from like the laptop, from the screens, doing something a little bit different as well.
True, yeah.
You've got the whole, like as you alluded to, the whole thing about growing food, which if you don't have a garden, I started off regrowing food on the kitchen windowsill.
Regrowing food? What do you mean by regrowing?
So literally, if you buy spring onion, so it's spring onion's great for this. You leave the end of the spring onion. It's like the bit with the kind of
the roots,
the root bit. Yeah. Literally, just put the root back into some water. Leave it in a sunny spot, and it'll start to regrow.
Oh,
and
okay.
you can reuse that same spring onion again once it's obviously grown enough to.
Yeah. Oh,
put
amazing.
Into whatever it is you're cooking.
I'll have to take your word for it because I tried growing like mint, which grows on the side of roads, and I killed it. So I'm just going to take your word for it.
Oh, well done. Mint is really, really hard to get rid of.
I know. I'm great at keeping people alive. Plants, not so much.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'll take your word for about that spring onion. You also mentioned with your gardening about. I'm a little bit. This is where we had the debate.
So in my garden, right, I've got a compost bin.
But you put compost as a whole different bullet point.
Well, it's great because you get to like take a spade and spend a bit of time kind of sorting the compost out, kind of rotating it around, kind of taking some from the bottom of it, putting it on top, and it's very almost therapeutic in that you're kind of doing this kind of thing which you just kind of concentrating just on that. And, if you need to put a bit more force into it,
Okay.
great.
I'll take your word for that. If you think that's good, then great for you.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it, in my opinion.
I mean, don't get a compost bin, for your patio.
Yeah, no. We tried to do composting in the front office. Because we had a compost in the garden.
You can compost tea bags, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And no one used to empty the compost bin out. And it used to stink in the front office. So we stopped it. Because I was just like, I'm not dealing with that. Not dealing with that smell, bugs, the lack of hygiene.
That's a shame.
Yeah. But I'll take your word that composting.
I'm leaving that in.
Can be good for your mood. I'm going to go and jump in with another one because this is actually a me one.
Please, because there's a few that down this list I just cannot talk about.
For me is a bubble bath. Okay. So some people are like, baths.
Yeah, I can't
bathing in
talk
your own
about
dirt. But the whole point of a bubble bath is not necessarily to feel clean. Some people have a shower after a bubble bath. I think I feel clean when I come out of a bubble bath, but basically it's the relaxation. It's relaxing your muscles. So I'm not just, it's not just water. You can put a bath bomb in. You can put some oils in that are good for your skin and your muscles. You can put some bubble bath, some candles, some nice music, or a comfort movie whilst you're in the bath. I can spend an hour in there. I can come out like a prune.
Water.
Well, no, because I've got stuff in there that keeps me clean. I'm not just in water.
And it's the reason why there was no way I could talk about this one.
Okay, yeah, right. I've had this argument before. Okay, when you wash the dishes...
You can probably blame friends for this.
When you wash the dishes...
Right, okay.
Yeah, and you put it in a bowl.
Yeah.
You put a plate in.
Yeah.
Wash it up.
Yeah.
To the side.
Yeah.
You then don't empty the water and then refill it up to wash the next plate. You still put it in there because it's got dish soap in it.
Yeah, but what do you do with that plate?
Put it on the side to dry.
Yeah, you put it on the side. You don't leave it in the water.
If you're soaking it.
Okay, but you don't just leave it in there forever.
No, I don't stay in a bath forever. I have to go to work. But my argument is if you've put stuff in the bath, it's the same as if you're washing the dishes.
But you don't leave it in there for the water to get dirty.
Let's just agree to disagree. But bubble baths can be a really good way to relax, unwind. You can get these now, which I've got is these bath tables. And you can put an iPad or your phone on and it's got a holder so you can watch stuff or whilst you're in the bath. So I'll put a TV series, put some YouTube on, something that doesn't require me to pay full attention.
Okay.
And yeah, I can stay in there 45 minutes to an hour and I come out and I feel so relaxed and I'll then probably go to bed afterwards because I feel so relaxed. So that is one of my top tips and I love doing that and I should probably do it more often.
So we're talking self-care.
Self-care, yeah.
Self-care, kind of looking after yourself. How can I not talk about gaming?
Gaming, I give you that one.
It's got to be the right sort of game for
100%.
the moment, though. Because if you're stressed and you play a game that's going to stress you out, then that's
you don't feel any good
ridiculous.
afterwards.
There's just... And the right sort of game does vary from person to person. So I've started to get into Fallout London over the weekend, particularly. Great game. Great kind of place to explore a little bit. And it's a great game to kind of get into, but it's not causing me the sort of joy of kind of swinging around New York in Spider-Man or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think it would probably be a very good game to explore and get to know and get into that world.
Yeah.
But if I'm stressed or if I want just a fun game, I don't think that will be it.
Fair.
So gaming, fantastic, but it's got to be the right game.
Yeah. No, I get that. For me, my games are, which some people are like, they're not video games, is Sims 4. I love Sims 4.
Sounds like a video game.
I love building the houses. I've got the expansion packs as well. So I'm a horse girl in Sims 4. Got my horses.
All right. Okay.
I look after the horses, train them up and things like that. And then also on my Switch, I've got Animal Crossing, which is,
Animal Crossing. I mean,
it's
Animal
such
Crossing,
a good...
in the world of self-care, Animal Crossing got basically a planet through a pandemic.
Yeah.
Or at least, the first lockdown.
Yeah. And it's great because I think with those games like Sims 4 and Animal Crossing, you don't have to think about it. It's not like you have to solve a puzzle like some games that I've had and things like that. You literally are like, oh, I've got to get 10 fish and I'll get coins for it or something like that. Or, I've got to build a house and things like that. And you can have little tasks in it which are quite, simple. So you're not getting stressed over it. And it just helps you switch off from the world. So yeah, I would totally agree with gaming.
Stardew Valley.
Yes, is another one.
Was a great game when I, so a couple of years ago, messed up my shoulder, couldn't really do anything work-wise, even kind of just staying at home, sat on a laptop because that involved kind of keeping arms in a particular position.
Lifting your arms a little bit.
So basically the only thing I could really do was play video games. It was great in theory. But I had no patience for any sort of challenge at all whatsoever.
Well, yeah, you're in pain, aren't you?
Yeah. So even kind of the more kind of classic games that I would go back to, like, Sonic the Hedgehogs and things like that. I was like, no, I have no patience for this.
Yeah.
Brought Stardew Valley and, just played that for like a week.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
And some of the young people that I've worked with through the years, for example, if you've got some like frustration or anger, they find shooting games are helpful. So it does depend on the mood and what you're going to get from a game. But I try and minimise my gaming.
A stress release.
Yeah, I try and minimise my gaming because I feel like I'd get too addicted. And then people be like, "Where's Lydia? She's not at work." I'll just be there in my room gaming. Another kind of self-care kind of tip is face masks. Not the face masks that everyone thinks, during COVID. I'm talking full face masks. You can do this in a bubble bath. You can do it on your sofa, watching a movie with a bit of popcorn. And some people will be like, oh, that's just for the ladies. No, men can do it too. I know some guys that will love a little good face mask. Opens those pores up to get your skin looking great. But also it's a nice way to just like feel good about yourself, boost that self-esteem and self-confidence. And it can be really relaxing. Just bear in mind if you wear glasses, I wear contact lenses as well. You are going to get face mask on your glasses. So be prepared to not get frustrated by that. But I love a good self-care kind of day.
Nice.
So face mask 100%.
Okay. Sleep.
Yeah, so important.
Sounds simple.
So important.
But when your head is feeling busy, it's really easy just to stay up, do stuff. Yeah. Whatever that stuff is. It's easy to just stay up.
100%.
Go over, flip to sleep. If you can.
Yeah, like I get bouts of insomnia once or twice a year. Don't know what the triggers are because it's really random. And for a couple of weeks, I was functioning on like maybe 2 hours sleep a night. And everyone was like, oh, is your mind busy? And I was, I think if you struggle with sleep, for me, I've managed to reset it after a couple of weeks. But if you do struggle with sleep because your mind's busy or whatever, there is things that you can do to help yourself with sleep. So you can do guided meditation, white noise, making sure that you've got a good bedtime routine. So, you start unwinding, you're not spending all your time in your bed. If you're gaming, try not game from your bed, not looking at screens and things like that. But after a full night's sleep, I felt like a new person. I came into work the next day and everyone was like, well, we can tell you slept. Because I was like...
you kind of got to the point where it was like you broke.
Oh, I did. I did break a little bit.
And you had to go home. You had to sleep like all the times.
Yeah.
You came back and I was like...
Yeah, I felt like a new person. So like lack of sleep can really affect you. So yeah, just a good night's sleep, uninterrupted if you can. Obviously, if you've got children, slightly difficult. But sleep is a must. I have another one which wasn't on our list, but we talked about it beforehand. Is obviously we've talked about getting out and about is really important in previous episodes.
That was the one I've been trying to work out what it was.
Yeah. So for me, I have a National Trust membership, and it's not that expensive. So if you're over a certain age, it's £7.80, I think, a month. If you're under a certain age, so you get like a young adults one, it's £3.80. And it gets you into a lot of free National Trust places, which there is a lot in Devon and Somerset. And there's a few in Cornwall as well. And it's a cheap day out because you've got your membership. You get free entry into the like if it's a castle as well as the grounds. And it's just great to be transported to a different dimension of time because it's all the history in the house. You can just like imagine the lord of the house and the servants. And I think National Trust do a great way of making it into a story so you feel like you can see it happening in the house. And it's a good day out, and you know it gets you exercising because these places are huge, a lot of them, so you're doing a lot of steps. The gardens are big as well, and you get to see some beautiful sceneries. And yeah, so I would say get yourself a National Trust membership if you can.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of National Trust houses.
I love them.
But the grounds, the estates, the... I'm going to say gardens, but I don't really mean the flowers and stuff. What I really mean is just the space.
Oh, the space.
Just the space. Just being out in nature is like, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, because like, you know, if you're in a, we're in a small city.
And they do gluten-free scones as well.
They do. We're both gluten-free people, so that's very exciting for us.
It's important in our world. Yeah,
for you at home, maybe not so much. But also, like we live in a city. Obviously, Exeter's a small city, but it's still busy. So going out into those spaces where you feel like you're in the countryside, etc., it's a breath of fresh air. But also, the volunteers that work there are just so lovely, and they are just so like they've got a good sense of humour. They'll have a laugh with you and just really share some history that you wouldn't necessarily be able to read about. And
you can get free autumn National Trust passes at the moment.
What? Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Between the 16th of September and the 18th of October. I'll put a link in the show notes.
Is that all membership passes or?
No. It's if you want to get a single use pass.
Oh, okay, single use pass. Okay. My younger sister's going to be annoyed because I got her to sign up literally before the weekend because we went to Dunster. She could have got it free for a bit.
Oh well.
Oops. That's
probably only for autumn.
Yeah, she's a working girl. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's great. And you know, if you've got dog as well, dogs can go on the grounds. A lot of National Trust places. Just obviously check the website beforehand because it will say if dogs are welcome or not. Obviously they can't go into the houses, but they can go into the grounds, and it's just another nice place to take your dog for a walk somewhere different. So yeah, that was my additional one to your list.
Yes. We've not talked about comfort movies.
Oh no,
or movies or TV shows or anything like that.
So,
I guess it's our way of saying, you know, what if you need to spend an hour or two doing nothing but vegging out watching TV or movies?
That's totally fine.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I've learned doing the job that we have done and that we do is being very mindful of what we're taking in. And you know, we're very, you know, everything's on the news about, you know, we talked about being mindful of what we consume food wise, but we also need to be mindful of what we consume through kind of our eyes and what we hear. And so when I'm talking about comfort stuff, I'm not talking, you know, intense thrillers or horror movies. Now, I do know some young people that loved watching horror movies and that was their kind of comfort movie, and that's fine. But what I'm talking about is those things that are potentially predictable, that you've maybe watched before. So if your mind is all over the place, you're not going to get frustrated with yourself if you dip in and out of the movie.
Yeah.
Now, my comfort movie is Pride and Prejudice, the movie, not the TV series with I can't remember his name.
Don't look at me like I know the answer.
I'm talking about the movie
one.
that's got Keira Knightley in it, and Pride and Prejudice. You're probably seeing a theme here: Pride and Prejudice, National Trust. Sound a bit like an old woman, but that kind of era, I love.
No comments.
But yeah, for me, it's Pride and Prejudice. We'll put it on, get into my comfies, you know, wrap myself up, and just switch off for an hour and a half, or a Marvel movie. I like a good Marvel movie. Iron Man 1 for me is my comfort movie.
Okay.
It was the first one I watched.
Oh, fair enough. Cool. Are we done on our list?
I think we are done.
I think we've hit more than 5.
We have, we can't just stick to 5. You can't just give us a number, guys, and expect us to stick to it. But obviously, if there's any other top tips.
But also, boundaries are good. I like boundaries.
Boundaries are good. That could be another episode for a podcast. But yeah, if you've got any more top tips.
Get you talking about boundaries. like how to stop your co-host talking.
You let me speak a minute. If you guys at home have any more top tips, especially those that are watching from our Facebook page or our YouTube, because we're now on YouTube, then please leave in the comments.
I believe you can also comment on Spotify.
Oh, can you?
Well, yeah.
I don't know how to use. I have Spotify, but I don't really know how to use it or navigate it. So.
Or heck, you can also drop us a message on social media.
That is true. Yeah.
But we are going down a tangent. Massively so. So before we leave, we've had a request to include weird kind of random news articles.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, you know what?
I love that.
I'm here for that.
I'm game for that.
So, first kind of random news article of the week-ish. Okay.
I'm a little bit worried, Andy, because your random is very random.
You gotta look for it at times. A species of whale, so ancient and elusive, that harpoon fragments dating back over a century have been discovered embedded in their bodies. Continues to intrigue scientists.
Sorry, what? People have got whales in their bodies?
No. A whale has been found with a harpoon in it.
Okay.
That, so this whale was caught off the coast of Alaska, where it had a arrowhead lodged in its neck. It was research into it revealed it to be part of a 19th century bomb lance manufactured in New England around 1880.
The arrowhead?
Yeah.
Wow.
Although the weapon likely exploded upon impact, the whale's thick layer of blubber and solid bones protected it from fatal injury, allowing it to live for another century.
That is amazing. I really did not hear what you said to begin with, because I thought you said people had found whales in their bodies.
That would be... that would take weird news to
a whole nother level.
And I'm here for that. I'm going to try and find something weirder for next time.
But that's pretty cool.
That is this week's
random article.
Random news of the week-ish.
Love that. Thanks for that, Andy.
Every week.
Thanks for that. I enjoyed that.
Thank you. Right, we should probably stop our ramblings.
Yeah, we should. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching or listening. Thank you also for participating in the poll on the Facebook and giving us some ideas for content. Obviously, if you liked what you heard, I've skipped ahead, haven't I, from what you normally say?
That's all right. Keep going.
If you can tell that we don't practice this or rehearse this, because it can be all over the place sometimes. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube,
wherever you watch and or listen to your podcast.
There you go. He's the
Please feel free to subscribe and or follow.
Yeah.
Also find out more information about YMCA Exeter on the social network of your choice. It can be found on at YMCA Exeter. Until next time, take care.
Bye. You're so much more professional than me.